Act 2, Scene 1, a seaport in Cyprus. A platform. Enter Montano and 2 gentlemen. Here's Montano.
What from the Cape can you discern at sea? So this would be Montano's voice. What from the Cape can you discern at sea?
Here's the first gentleman.
Nothing at all. It is a high-wrought flood. I cannot twixt the heaven and the main descry a sail.
Methinks the wind hath spoke aloud at land. A fuller blast ne'er shook our battlements. If it hath ruffianed so upon the sea, what ribs of oak, when mountains melt on them, can hold the mortise? What shall we hear of this?
Here's the second gentleman.
A segregation of the Turkish fleet, for do but stand upon the foaming shore. The chidden billow seems to pelt the clouds. The wind shakes surge with high and monstrous mane. Seems to cast water on the burning bear and quench the guards of the ever-fixed pull. I never did like molestation view on the enchanted flood.
If that the Turkish fleet be not ensheltered and embayed, they are drowned. It is impossible to bear it out.
Enter a third gentleman.
News, lads, our wars are done. The desperate tempest hath so banged the Turks that their designments halts. A noble ship of Venice hath seen a grievous wreck and sufferance on most part of their fleet. How is this true? The ship is here put in. A Veronessa, Michael Cassio, lieutenant to the warlike Moor Othello, is come on shore, the Moor himself at sea, and is in full commission here for Cyprus. I am glad on't. 'Tis a worthy governor. But this same Cassio, though he speak of comfort touching the Turkish loss, yet he looks sadly, and prays the Moor be safe, for they were parted with foul and violent tempest. Pray heavens he be. For I have served him, and the man commands like a full soldier. Let's to the seaside, ho! As well to see the vessel that comes in as to throw out our eyes for brave Othello, even till we make the main and the aerial blue in indistinct regard. Come, let's do so, for every minute is expectancy of more arrivants.
Enter Cassio. I think Cassio, I do like a, I am Cassio. Fuck it. A new Cassio voice, and Cassio just be like, I am Cassio. There, you talk kind of like that. Very, like, nobleman voice. Like, hey, very nobleman. Here's Cassio. Thanks you, the valiant of this warlike isle, that so approve the Moor. Oh, let the heavens give him defense against the elements, for I have lost him on a dangerous sea. Is he well shipped? His bark is stoutly timbered, and his pilot of very expert and approved allowance. Therefore my hopes, not surfeited to death, stand in bold cure. Someone says within, A sail! A sail! A sail! What noise? The town is empty. On the brow of the sea stand ranks of people, and they cry, A sail! A sail! My hopes do shape him for the governor. Bang! A shot. Like a cannon shot in the distance. They do discharge their shot of courtesy. Our friends, at least. I pray you, sir, go forth and give us truth who 'tis that is arrived. I shall. They exit. The second gentleman exits. But, good lieutenant, is your general wived? Most fortunately, he hath achieved a maid that paragons description and wild fame, one that excels the quirks of blazoning pens, and in the essential vesture of creation does tire the engineer. Enter second gentleman. How now? Who has put in? 'Tis one Iago, ancient to the general. Ah, he has had most favorable and happy speed. Tempests themselves, high seas, and howling winds, the guttered rocks and congregated sands, traders in steeped to clog the guiltless keel, as having sense of beauty, do omit their mortal natures, letting go safely by the divine Desdemona. What is she? She that I spake of. our great captain's captain, left in the conduct of the bold Iago, whose footing here anticipates our thoughts, a sea knight's speed. Great Jove! Othello, guard and swell his sail with thine own powerful breath, that he may bless this bay with his tall ship, make love's quick pants in Desdemona's arms, give renewed fire to our extincted spirits, and bring all Cyprus comfort. Enter Desdemona, Iago, Roderigo, and Emilia. Oh, behold! The riches of the ship is come on shore. Yea, ye men of Cyprus, let her have your knees. Hail to thee, lady. And the grace of heaven, before, behind thee, and on every hand, enwheel thee round. Here's Desdemona. I thank you, valiant Cassio. What tidings can you tell me of my lord? He is not yet arrived, nor know I aught, but that he is well, and will be shortly here. Oh, but I fear. How lost your company? Within, someone says, "A sail! A sail!" Yes, indeed, Sumio. Iago and Desdemona, they are together right now, because he is, yeah. Cassio says, "The great contention of the sea and skies parted our fellowship. But hark! A sail! Guns within. Boom!
They give their greeting to the citadel. This likewise is a friend."
See for the news. The gentleman exits. Good ancient, you are welcome. Cassio now says this to Emilia. Welcome, mistress. Let it not gall your patience, welcome, mistress. Let it not gall your patience, good Iago, that I extend my manners. 'Tis my breeding that gives me this bold show of courtesy. Cassio kisses Emilia, and Emilia is Iago's wife. Here's Iago. Sir, would she give you so much of her lips as of her tongue she oft bestows on me, you would have enough. Here's Desdemona. Alas, she has no speech. In faith, too much. I find it still when I have list to sleep. Marry, before your ladyship I grant, she puts her tongue a little in her heart, and chides with thinking. Here's Emilia. What's Emilia's voice? I'll make it still sort of my voice. Emilia would say, Emilia's gonna be like a higher pitch, like, I'm gonna go, no, lower voice. It's gonna be, it means like hello, like this. So I'll talk like, you have little cause to say so. Yeah, I'm gonna have sort of an accent, so that's kind of, you have little cause to say so. Yeah, I'll give it the British accent, even though I'm not perfect British. So there's Emilia with a British accent. Here's Iago. Come on, you are pictures out of doors. Bells in your parlors, wildcats in your kitchens, saints in your injuries, devils being offended, players in your housewifery, and housewives in your beds. Oh, fie upon thee, slanderer! That's a Desdemona. Nay, it is true, or else I am a Turk. You rise to play, and go to bed to work. You shall not write my praise. No, let me not. Desdemona again. My voice is kind of... but here's Desdemona. What wouldst thou write of me, if thou shouldest praise me? Oh, gentle lady, do not put me to it, for I am nothing if not critical. Come on, essay! There's one gone to the harbor? Aye, madam. I am not merry, but I do beguile the thing I am by seeming otherwise. Come, how wouldst thou praise me? I am about it, but indeed my invention comes from my pate as Bertolime does from frieze. It plucks out brains and all, but my muse labors, and thus she is delivered. If she be fair and wise, fairness and wit, the one's for use, the other useth it. Well praised. How if she be black and witty? If she be black, and there to have a wit, she'll find a white that shall her blackness fit. Worse and worse. How if fair and foolish? She never yet was foolish that was fair, for even her folly helped her to an heir. These are old fond paradoxes to make fools laugh in the alehouse. What miserable praise hast thou for her that's foul and foolish? There's none so foul and foolish thereunto, but does foul pranks which fair and wise ones do. Oh, heavy ignorance! Thou praisest the worst best! But what praise couldst thou bestow on a deserving woman indeed? One that in the authority of her merit did justly put on the vouch of her malice itself. She that was ever fair and never proud, had tongue at will, and yet was never loud, never lacked gold, and yet went never gay, fled from her wish, and yet said, now I may. She that being angered, her revenge being nigh, bade her wrong stay, and her displeasure fly. She that in wisdom never was so frail, to change the cod's head for the salmon's tail. She that could think and ne'er disclose her mind, see suitors following, and not look behind. She was a white, if ever such white were. White were. To do what? To suckle fools and chronicle small beer. Oh, lame and impotent conclusion! Do not learn of him, Amelia, though he be thy husband. Let me redo that. Do not learn of him, Amelia, though he be thy husband. How say you, Cassio? Is he not a most profane and liberal counselor?
Indeed, he speaks home, madam. You may relish him more in the soldier than in the scholar.
Here's Iagos. He says this aside. Iago says this aside. He takes her by the palm. Aye, well said whisper. With as little a web as this will I ensnare as great a fly as Cassio. I smile upon her. Do. I will jive thee in thine own courtship. You say true. 'Tis so indeed. If such tricks as these strip you out of your lieutenantry, it had better been you had not kissed your fingers so oft. Which now again you are most apt to play the Surin. Very good. Well kissed, an excellent courtesy. Oh, 'tis so indeed. Yet again your fingers to your lips. Would they were clyster pipes for your sake. A trumpet is heard within.
The Moor! I know his trumpet!
Cassio says,
'Tis truly so!
Let's meet him and receive him.
Lo, where he comes!
Enter Othello and attendants. Thank you. Yes, nice Star Wars trumpet indeed. Here's Othello. He says this to Desdemona.
Oh, my fair warrior.
My dear Othello.
It gives me wonder great as my content to see you here before me. Oh, my soul's joy. If after every tempest come such calms, may the winds blow till they have wakened death, and let the laboring bark climb hills of seas Olympus high, duck again as low as hell's from heaven. If it were now to die, 'twere now to be most happy, for I fear my soul hath her content so absolute that not another comfort like to this succeeds in unknown fate.
The heavens forbid, but that our lives and comforts should increase, even as our days do grow.
Amen to that, sweet powers. It stops me here. It is too much joy. And this, the greatest discords be.
They kiss.
That ever our hearts shall make.
Iago says this aside. Oh, you are well tuned now. But I'll set down the pegs that make this music as honest as I am.
Come, let us to the castle. News, friends, our wars are done! The Turks are drowned! How does my old acquaintance of this isle? Honey, you shall be well desired in Cyprus. I have found great love amongst them. Oh, my sweet. I prattle out of fashion, and I dote in mine own comfort. I prithee, good Iago, go to the bay and disembark my coffers. Bring thou the master to the citadel. He is a good one, and his worthiness does challenge much respect. Come, Desdemona. Once more well met at Cyprus.
Exit Othello, Desdemona, and the attendants. Let me top myself off here for some more tea. There we go. All that's left now is Iago. And, well, Iago's here. Oh, yeah. And Rodrigo. Here's Iago. Do thou meet me presently at the harbor. Come hither, if thou beest valiant. As they say, base men being in love have then a nobility in their natures more than is native to them. List me. The lieutenant watches on the court of guard first. First, I must tell thee this. Oh, I see. Okay, I gotta start over again. So Iago is talking to Rodrigo. Do thou meet me presently at the harbor. Come hither. If thou beest valiant, as they say, base men being in love have them a nobility in their natures more than is native to them. List me. The lieutenant tonight watches on the court of guard. First, I must tell thee this. Desdemona is directly in love with him. Here's Rodrigo.
With him? Why, 'tis not possible.
Lay thy finger thus, and let thy soul be instructed. Mark me with what violence she first loved the Moor, but for bragging and telling her fantastical lies. And will she love him still for prating? Let not thy discreet heart think it. Her eye must be fed. And what delight shall she have to look on the devil? When the blood is made dull with the act of sport, there should be again to inflame it, and to give satiety, a fresh appetite, loveliness in flavor, sympathy in years, manners and beauties, all of which the Moor is defective in. Now, for want of these required conveniencies, her delicate tenderness will find itself abused, begin to heave the gorge, disrelish and abhor the Moor. Very nature will instruct her in it, and compel her to some second choice. Now, sir, this granted, as it is a most pregnant and unforced position, who stands so eminently in the degree of this fortune as Cassio does? A knave, very voluble. No further conscionable than in putting on the mere form of a civil and humane seeming, for the better encompassing of his salt and most hidden loose affection. Why none? A slipper and subtle knave, a finder out of occasions. Blech. That has an eye, can stamp and counterfeit advantages, though true advantage never present itself. A devilish knave. Besides, the knave is handsome, young, and hath all those requisites in him that folly and green minds look after. A pestilent, complete knave. And the woman hath found him already. I cannot believe that is in her. She is full of most blessed condition. Blessed fig's end. The wine she drinks is made of grapes. If she had been blessed, she would never have loved the Moor. Blessed pudding. Didst thou not see her paddle with the palm of his hand? Didst not mark that? Yes, that I did, but that was but courtesy. Lechery by this hand. An index, an obscure prologue to the history of lust and foul thoughts. They met so near with their lips that their breaths embraced each other. Villainous thoughts, Rodrigo! When these mutualities so marshal the way, hard at hand comes the master and main exercise, the incorporate conclusion. Pish! But, sir, be you ruled by me. I have brought you from Venice. Watch you tonight. For the command, I'll lay it upon you. Cassio knows not you. Cassio knows you not. I'll not be far from you. Do you find some occasion to anger Cassio, either by speaking too loud or tainting his discipline, or from what other course you please, which the time shall more favorably minister? Sir, he is rash, and very sudden in color, and haply with his truncheon may strike at you. Provoke him that he may, for even out of that will I cause these of Cyprus to mutiny, whose qualifications shall come into no true taste again, but by the displanting of Cassio. So shall you have a shorter journey to your desires, by the means I shall then have to prefer them, and the impediment most profitably removed, without the which there were no expectation of our prosperity. I will do this, if I can bring it to any opportunity. I warrant thee! Meet me by and by at the citadel. I must fetch his necessities ashore. Farewell. Adieu! Rodrigo exits. So Iago's now alone. That Cassio loves her. I do well believe it. That she loves him. 'Tis apt, and of great credit. The Moor, howbeit that I endure him not, is of a constant, loving, noble nature, and I dare think he'll prove to Desdemona a most dear husband. Now I do love her too. Not out of absolute lust, though pre-adventure I stand account for as great a sin, but partly led to diet my revenge. For that I do suspect that the lusty Moor hath leaped into my seat, the thought whereof doth like a poisonous mineral gnaw my inwards, and nothing can or shall content my soul till I am evened with him wife for wife. Or, failing so, yet that I put the Moor, at least, into a jealousy so strong that judgment cannot cure. Which thing to do, if this poor trash of Venice, whom I trash for his quick hunting, stand the putting on, I'll have our Michael Cassio on the hip! Abuse him to the Moor, in the rank garb, for I fear Cassio with my nightcap too. Make the Moor thank me, love me, and reward me for making him egregiously an ass, and practicing upon his peace and quiet even to madness. 'Tis here, but yet confused. Knavery's plain face is never seen till used.